2009 was more than just another year in Mississippi agriculture. It will be remembered along with the droughts of 1984 and 2000 and Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The rain that fell in September and October obliterated what was expected to be a good year. 2009 was a reminder of how agriculture and forestry are subject to the whims of weather. In 2009, Mississippi's major and minor commodities saw their production value drop from the year before. Only hay went up. Mississippi's overall farm production value dropped to $5.5 billion in 2009, down 15% from 2008. Crop prices were lower, but the rain that fell during the harvest season turned predictions of record yields into losses. It was a year of wide weather swings for Mississippi farmers. February and May saw lots of rain, more than 10 inches per month in many areas. This rain stunted corn while it drowned out many early planted soybeans.
We don't have springs like this. I mean, usually by this time we should be through with everything and done got our nitrogen out, our herbicides out, and but it's rained every week. I mean, it's just hard to get anything done.
June saw the rain stop and 100-degree temperatures take their place. July and August are usually hot and dry in Mississippi, so farmers feared the worst for their late-planted crops. Miraculously, temperatures moderated and rain fell in many locations during the last 3 weeks of July. By early September, Mississippi farmers felt like they had dodged a disaster. State average crop yields were predicted to be at or above those of 2008. Mississippi soybean farmers were forecast to harvest a new state average record yield of 41 bushels per acre.
I had estimated my crop to be around 900 to 950 pounds straight across the board, which is actually pretty good cotton in the hills. Now I'm looking at averaging about 3/4 of a bale, about 300, 350 pounds.
Then the rain started to fall about the second week of September. October is statistically the driest month of the year in Mississippi, but not in 2009. The rain not only fell in large amounts, but it fell so often fields wouldn't dry out long enough to harvest.
We got approximately 16 days of straight rain non-stop, and then it was just showers and showers and showers, and then it seemed like after that every 3 or 4 days we'd get 3 or 4 inches.
State climatologist Charles Wax said Stoneville received more than 15 inches of rain in September and October, 2.5 times the normal amount. Mississippi State University almost 20 inches of rain in September and October. That's 3 times the usual amount. Jackson almost 12 inches, almost double normal. Biloxi more than 11 inches, almost 2.7 inches above normal. It ended up the soybeans planted late in the spring did the best in the fall. The early planted soybeans matured, sat in the rain, and molded in their pods. Yield is not everything in farming. Quality is needed as well. Monroe County farmer Chris Osborne said he had no quality discounts on some fields, on others as high as 50%. Many farmers had even higher quality losses or they didn't harvest at all. Osborne couldn't recall a fall this wet in his 35 years of farming.
So it's been challenging. We've had to deal with the wet weather and work in between the rains and try to find a dry spot just to be able to start harvesting.
Sweet potato farmers were slammed by the wet harvest weather. It didn't take long for the potatoes to begin to rot.
Me and my son had 675 acres. We harvest about 325 because we need help. If we don't get help, we might not be able to go, next year.
Mississippi's 1st District Congressman Travis Childers visited North Mississippi with a U.S. Department of Agriculture official. Childers introduced a bill to provide direct disaster payments to farmers, saying low-interest disaster loans and crop insurance weren't enough to cover this kind of loss. Childers and the rest of Mississippi's congressional delegation supported direct payments, but as of the end of the year, Childers' bill was stalled.
I made it real clear in that room that I understand negotiation, and I understand if we have to bend some of this or change some of it. But as I told them in that room, if you could see what I see when I go home on the weekend, you'd be a lot more interested than just me and Mr. Scoos trying to help.
Mississippi soybean farmers harvested 38 bushels per acre, only 2 below the record, but their quality discounts were tremendous. November soybean futures peaked on June 11th at $10.90 a bushel. The lowest closed $7.91 on March 3rd. Mississippi soybean acreage 2.16 million acres, the highest since 1989. December corn futures put in a low of $3.06 per bushel September 4th. The high, $4.73 per bushel, came June 2nd. The state average yield, 126 bushels per acre, off 14 from 2008. Planted acreage, 730,000 acres. Mississippi's cotton farmers planted their smallest cotton crop on record, 305,000 acres. The weather-punished crop averaged 692 pounds per acre. December cotton futures put in a low of 46.3 cents per pound March 9th. The peak came November 24th at 72.52 cents. 245,000 acres of rice were planted in Mississippi in 2009, up 15,000 from 2008. The average yield, 6,700 pounds per acre. September rice futures put in a low of 11.56 per hundredweight March 13th. The high of 13.93 came September 4th. After setting record highs in 2008 of $147 per barrel, crude oil prices hit their lowest point of the year February 12th at $33.98 per barrel. Prices climbed during 2009 with a high of $81.37 coming October 21st. On the national scene, President-elect Barack Obama took office in January. He selected former Iowa Governor Tom Vilsack to serve as Secretary of Agriculture. Spring saw the H1N1 virus, also known as swine flu, dominate the headlines. Pork prices and sale tanked due to the mistaken notion that you could get the virus by eating pork. The continuing recession in 2009 was not kind to the beef cattle sector.
Came into the year, prices were down from what we expect throughout most of January, on into March. We started seeing some relief about that time, and then we got some news of H1N1, which had some ramifications for the cattle sector and the fact that it did cause some backlog of beef. Throughout most of the summer, again, we're dealing with high corn prices, low corn prices, a lot of volatility in that market, which, adds some risk there on the cattle producer side.
Mississippi cattlemen, however, did buck the national trend and increase the number of all cattle and calves by 1% in 2009. The national herd dropped 1%. Mississippi remained the nation's leader in catfish production, but 2009 was characterized by low prices, relatively high feed costs, and increased imports. Mississippi's pond acreage dropped dramatically. At the end of 2009, Mississippi's pond acres totaled 64,000, off 20% from the year before, down 45%, almost half from the peak in 2001. The number of catfish farms in the United States dropped 24% in 2009 to 994. Poultry remained Mississippi's top commodity with a production value of $2.3 billion in 2009. For the first time since 1992, Mississippi forestry dropped below $1 billion in production value to $816 million. Mississippi soybean farmers came in third in 2009, corn fourth, rice fifth. 6 through 10 were catfish, hay, cattle and calves, cotton, and horticultural crops. Federal government payments to Mississippi landowners and farmers totaled $502 million in 2009.